All right, now we are in part 2. In the scope management, we discussed each process one by one. But for schedule management, let's discuss them all at once with a very simple and funny example. Plan schedule. Let's quickly recollect what is plan schedule. In plan schedule management, you choose the right method, right process, right tools and techniques that will work for this project. Let's understand defining the activities. Defining activities is the process of identifying and documenting the specific actions to be performed to produce the project deliverables. Let's understand with an example. As I said in the beginning, the funny one. You have to prepare omelette. What do you do? Let me help you. Take 2 eggs, break them, put them into a bowl, beat it. Oh, I forgot. Add pepper and salt. Beat it again. I forgot to tell you. By adding milk, the omelette will be tastier and fluffier. So please add it as well. Sorry, I forgot. Let's wait for a minute or two until the pan gets hot enough. All right, now it's hot enough. Ready to pour. Oh no, only now I remember. Please add oil into the mixture. Omelette would taste even better. Mix the oil, beat it again. Now pour the egg onto the hot pan. Wait until it gets cooked on one side. Now turn to the other side. Oh, you don't have the flipper ready? Go and get it. I'll wait. Be really quick, huh? Oh my goodness, omelette is a little bit overburnt on one side. Don't worry, it's eatable, it's okay. Turn to the other side. Wait for a while until this side also gets cooked, maybe a minute. Your omelette is ready. Put the omelette in the main plate. Oh, you don't have it? Go and get it. Got it? Good. Now put the omelette on the plate. Have ketchup on both sides. Now it's ready to eat. All right, this is how you can prepare tasty omelette. By the way, how was my omelette making instruction? Very bad, right? But why? As you observed, in this whole process, I keep forgetting one of the other steps and add it later. Honestly, omelette making may sound easier, but even for this, you better to know all the steps so that execution can be a lot smoother. Just for omelette preparation, if you need so much of planning, imagine how much of planning will be required in a project. You can't afford to miss any steps. That's what exactly you do in this process. Define activities. We are going to list down all the activities, all, as much as possible. All right, the next one is sequence activities. As you notice in the example, during some activities, we went back and forth. For example, I didn't tell you to keep the flipper ready to flip the omelette. As a result, the omelette got overburnt on one side. Wouldn't it be nice if we know all the inputs required in first place and the sequence of operations? That's what exactly we do here, sequence activities. In the previous process, define activities, all the project activities are listed, not necessarily in sequence. Whatever listed now gets sequenced in sequence activities. Of course, in the first step of planning in any project, it's highly unlikely that you get all the activities in sequence. It's perfectly normal and it's perfectly fine. But before execution, you should sequence the activities in a logical flow. This makes the execution a lot easier. Imagine in the same omelette making example, how about if we started the whole process by listing the activities to be done in sequence? I hope you remember in this process we wasted a couple of minutes for the pan to get hot. If the steps are clearly known by sequence, even this could have been avoided, right? Okay, shall we do the same exercise again, but this time with a proper sequencing? Are you ready? Let me describe in a typical recipe making way. Things needed: 2 eggs, pepper, oil, milk, egg beater, omelette flipper, plate, and ketchup. Okay, keep all of them ready. Now let's get into the process. Of course, in sequence. Break the egg, put them in a bowl, beat it. Switch on the burner and start heating the pan. In the egg mixture, add salt and pepper, add milk and oil, beat again for a minute or two. Make sure the pan is hot, Pour the mixture, wait until one side gets fully cooked. Flip to the other side. Once that's cooked, transfer to the main plate. Add ketchup. The tasty omelette is ready. Here, the steps are sequenced. We focused even the parallel process, which is heating the pan to avoid waiting time. So, sequence activities is the process of identifying and documenting a relationship among the project activities. Let's jump into estimate activity duration. Just imagine a situation. I come to you saying that I'm feeling very, very hungry and I want something to eat. And you tell me to prepare an omelette. You give me only instruction, no physical help. But I don't know how to cook omelette. I don't know how long will it take. I completely depend on your instruction and your inputs. So I started the process based on your instruction. Later, I realized it's taking longer than what I thought. So I complain about it. And you say that I'm not aware that you are so hungry. If it's not, then I would have recommended you to go for 2 minutes noodles, not for omelette. So would it be nice if we know how long an activity will take in a project? And that's what exactly we do in estimate activity duration. During estimate activity duration, we do assign resources for those activities. The process of estimating the number of work period needed to complete individual activities with the estimated resources is known as estimate activity duration. All right. Now the next step is to develop schedule. So far we listed the activities, sequenced them, estimated the duration and assigned the resources as well. Are we done with the schedule management or still missing something? Let's go back to the example. Let's be critical this time. As I beat the egg to avoid the waiting time, you switched on the burner in advance. During this process, you stopped the egg beating process and switched on the burner. By the time the pan is hot, you stop beating the egg and you poured it on the pan. There are two things to notice here. Number one, as a resource, you stop an activity and did another one. The second one, you have a dependency where you should stop beating the egg when the pan is hot. Of course, the more you beat the egg, the fluffier it would be, but you have a dependency constraint. Now, let's think about the same situation from different perspective. You get support from your mom to prepare the omelette. As you start beating the egg, she helps you to add milk, pepper and oil. And she switches on the burner at the right time so that egg mixture can be poured on the pan at right temperature. Here you have few advantages. You don't have to stop your ongoing activity. Your workload gets reduced and you have a resource to help. On the other hand, an additional resource gets added into the project and you need to plan for that as well. Do you think involving mom from the beginning of this process is a good idea? I'm asking from optimized resource utilization perspective. Think about your project and answer it. No, not at all, right? Until you get the eggs, break it, pour it on the bowl, beat it for 2 or 3 minutes. Mom has nothing to do. Keeping resources idle in a project is not at all a good idea. Mom can start helping you only when the time reaches to add milk, oil, and pepper. Similarly, in a project, there may be activities that need multiple resources work in parallel. There may be activities that are to be done in sequence. That is, complete activity A, then do activity B. Let's say both the resources are capable to do both activities A and activities B, but here the constraint is they have to be done only in sequence. Like break the egg, after that pour it on the bowl and beat it. Breaking the egg and pouring it on the bowl could have been done by you, then beating could have been done by mom. But this can be done only in sequence, not at the same time. On the other hand, some of the activities can be done in parallel as well. For example, as you beat the egg, the pan can be heated and made ready. Hope you're getting the idea about dependencies and parallel activities. You need to plan them carefully in a project to use the resources in an optimized way. To develop the schedule in such a way that they are carried out in most optimized way. The process of analyzing activity sequence, duration, resource requirements, and schedule constraints to create the project schedule model for the project execution And monitoring and controlling is called develop schedule. I know it's a long definition. All right. Now the next one, control schedule. Control schedule is all about managing the schedule and schedule baseline. Okay, let's quickly rush through some of the points to remember before we jump to schedule management process. Project schedule management is all about the detailed plan that represents how and when the project will deliver the product or service or result that is defined in the project scope. By delivering the agreed scope, this also serves as a tool to communicate about the performance of the project and managing stakeholders' expectation on scope and schedule. The project team selects the scheduling method such as agile approach or critical path method based on nature of the project. In project scheduling tools such as MS Project, the project related data such as activity name, start date, duration, resources, dependencies, constraints, etc. are entered. The tool automatically calculates the critical path. These kind of project scheduling tools are quite handy and helpful to the project managers. The detailed project scheduling also helps to identify the project risks. As the changes are introduced in the project, of course, I'm talking about the approved changes, the project schedule needs to be updated because there may be some new activities added or some activities may not be needed anymore in the project. The change in schedule forms the new schedule baseline. The project performance will be measured based on the updated schedule baseline. It's the responsibility of the project manager to prepare a realistic schedule and present to the stakeholders to gain their approval. Even though in real time, we project managers often use project management software, which are highly useful in managing the schedule, but in the examination, you may be asked to calculate the critical path manually. Don't worry, there is a dedicated lesson for this. Very, very importantly, just remember those are just schedule management software. They are not project management software. In fact, just like people get confused between project charter and project management plan, many project managers get confused between project schedule management plan and project management plan. Remember, project schedule management plan has Gantt chart and project schedule management plan is a component of project management plan. So, project schedule management plan is not project management plan. In the examination, your project management knowledge will be tested, not your project scheduling software knowledge. So, let's learn the concept, not the software. All right, that wraps up the overview. Let's move to the first process in schedule management.